Hello. This is a serious situation, a serious video, and a sorrowful condition. I don't count years, but on this day, years ago, Lubavitcher Rebbe spoke of the situation because of regarding the redemption of the whole world, the freeing of the entire creation from the dark forces called Mashiach. Mashiach is a person, but it's also a period. And because we haven't listened, and we don't listen, as the Rebbe indicates in the Sikha of Tafshin Nun Aleph, 1992, on this day, the Rebbe said clearly that everything he had tried did not accomplish the purpose, and in any case, we are in exile in the service of Hashem, in the internal service to Hashem, to God. And even if there's 10 of us, maybe even 2 or 3 will come up with the idea how to bring Mashiach about. But this is not a simple matter. This is not a light issue. With all the idea that it is possible, and whoever remembers that period of time just before that Sikha, that we felt the redemption in the air, and that we knew that it's a possibility. The whole world, the whole creation is geared towards it. So what is stopping us? Why is that not happening? Yes, it's true. We all have an evil inclination, and the general inclination and the private one holds us back because it knows that if we don't get held back, pardone, then the situation will become a lust for it. Being in the situation whereby a person knows that there's something attainable and it's in their reach, it becomes very hard to accomplish. There's terrific resistance from within. For example, someone is about to pay the last payment of their mortgage, and so all of a sudden they want to buy a whole world around them. It takes a lot of discipline, a lot of understanding of the importance of the situation to complete some process that basically is from the beginning of creation. Moreover, we have no idea what Mashiach is all about. We are not used to a situation where there's only light and no pain and no illnesses, no sorrow. We don't know how to handle such a thing. It's totally unknown to us. And therefore, in many ways, we're looking for something which we have no idea. We don't understand what it is. Only we know that it's very good for us and good for the rest of the world, and it is possible to reach there. In that Sikha, the Rebbe says, I've tried everything I can. I've done everything within my power. From now I leave it up to you. Real Lubavitcher Chassidim know that it cannot be seemingly possible. The Rebbe could have brought Mashiach on his own, but that would not be the Mashiach of the resolution of the creation in a positive way, but rather in the same way as it was before, where we are required to accomplish the redemption with our work, what's called Or Choizer. The thing is, the point really of this whole effort is that it's been long time coming. It is the reality of the world. This is where the world was created for the days of Mashiach. So why are we having so many troubles reaching it? Especially when we have so many words. Those walls around here are covered with books, many, many books, of course, of the Rebbe himself, all his sikhas, big books, and all the translations, all the abbreviations thereof, discourses, Before the Rebbe himself printing other people's, there's so much information at hand. So how come we don't accomplish it? It's not a question just for me or just for you. It's a question for many of people. The inception point for where the Rebbe started sending people around the world, where one of the first times we missed it was, as the Rebbe indicates, the point of this Sikha, as the Rebbe wanted to change us, and he claims that he could not. We remained in exile in the internal service to Hashem. What's the eternal service to Hashem? It's the key to all things. The general Mashiach is here, it's obvious. But people don't use it. They do other things. They rather make money or go on vacation and skiing or talk nonsense on the what's called the social media, or react to some kinds of an old ancient repeating situation in the land of the Holy Land, and give place in people, in our enemies, more power than they have. They're just marionettes in the hands of Hashem. Never were really focused on Mashiach. Us, the people. I'm not talking about the Rebbe. And I'm not talking about individuals. So how do you accomplish the change from within? The change from within is accomplished by surrendering one's mind and one's will to the reality of one's great abilities. What does that mean? Many people, especially in the affluent countries, tend to see themselves as a very narrow facade of humanity. Profession, social standing, whom you married, kids. I don't have any, but what I see around yet, I'll find that lady. This broadcast is for my second wife, show up soon, and very importantly to the memory of my first wife, Alea Shalom Tzipora Bas Eliyahu, and a very, very, very dear friend, Menashe Ben Yosef, Alav Shalom, passed away recently. I want you to know that this is all avoidable. All the tragedies we have are all avoidable. Because the Rebbe says, what's the point? What's Ikar? What's the main thing? What is the most functional part of humanity? The soul. The internal part of the soul, which is directly connected to godliness. Jew or non-Jew alike, just in different ways. But if we ignore it and we do other things, open the day with all kinds of gossip and nonsense and all kinds of repeated badly chewed gum of, it's like you have 200,000, I don't know how many channels of supposed news. It's not news. It's all bad things. It's all gossip. And that's where we lend our power to. When a person gives their power to where they shouldn't, first of all, they waste what they should do. And secondary, they get distracted and deteriorate into the level and become receivers from the negativity instead of giving it positivity and annulling it. I was at a very good friend's house on Pesach, and while we were waiting for them to set up, we were ordered to the living room, and what the lady there, she's a very nice lady, tells me to do, I do. I believe and I know that Jewish women, especially the observant ones, know the saying. I listen to my first wife, and wherever you are, second wife, I'll listen to you too. I promise that I can keep. But the issue is very clear. When a person is not within their own selves, and they are trying to be someone else or affected by other things, then they cannot fulfill their purpose. When there's issues involving what we call politics, or as my late wife used to say, politics is just an excuse for bad behavior. Business for the same thing. Or all kinds of supposed renovations, innovations, what you want to call it. Only way new ways of teaching, and everything is exaggerated, and everything is awesome and amazing. Get with it. Cut it out. We're just your human being. Nothing is awesome. Nothing is amazing but God himself and some of the things that he does. But in order for us to get to the final moment, which will come, Mumi was British and she used to say, but who I crook? And therefore it will happen. Nobody knows when. It can happen any second. We hold on the option of it and we don't use it. Ain't smart, amigo perdido. Therefore, when a person comes and looks at this situation, not at the news, supposed news, not at some small narrow issue, even within the realms of holiness, like building a yeshiva, like extending the synagogue. If the person steps back and looks at the whole thing from the standpoint of what a great redemption there will be to all, then suddenly the situation becomes very clear. This is an opportunity. And it's not an opportunity that will wait forever. It's an opportunity that depends strictly on us. And when we come to look at it in such a way, then we know that we all have the ability to bring redemption. It depends on our internal way of working. The Torah likens the person to a small world, and the world at large for a large person, for a great person. Big person, that is. They're parallel. The way the person looks at themselves with all the fight of the negativities and all the feeling that they're not good enough and all the attempts to cover of it and all this kind of thing, that's the way they look at the world. That's the way they reflect themselves into the world. And actions matter, speech matters, not appearances. Appearances don't matter whatsoever. What matters is the truth. And if a person is not kind and not good, which they should be, then there's a problem. There are real problems. Not problems of minute small things, but problems between countries, problems within families, a lot of divorces, a lot of cheating, a lot of lying, a lot of terrible mode of discussion of speech. This is not good for us. The superimposed darkness which so many people try to impose on the regular society as we see is not good, and it's not right. It's not correct. We got to mix the pot which is not mixable. Big deal. So how does the other side fight us? All this nonsense of feminism. We want to be equal. No, you want to be man. You can't. You don't have to be. Women are greater than men. Obviously, I'm not looking for a man. Believe me, I want a woman. You complete us, you build us, and it's a lot of fun to be married. It's a lot of fun to have a girlfriend. It's a lot of fun to be having, I'm not talking about physical things, I'm just being together. Companionship. I had a very good marriage for 25 years. We have our issues, so what? But the people today are looking to be something that they're not, someone else. They don't even copy anymore what they're told. They're just trying to be something else. Hence, this abomination of transgender. Can't accept it. It's not acceptable. God said it's not, and it's not. I'm not going to stand back. I'm not going to lower it. There's no politically correct. Politically correct is saying is you don't have the guts to stand to the wrong things, and you support them. How do you bring Moshiach? Steadfastness. What's right is right, and what isn't is not. Yes, you can accept. I had a discussion with someone about a burst of divorces somewhere in Israel, in a not exactly a very religious community, but a community of mixed, knitted kippas and all this kind of thing. The women were there, and the rabbi was saying, well, they suffered when they were young, so it's okay. No, it isn't. It's the exact opposite. It's called in modern psychology. Modern is withdrawn deterioration, falling back to the bottom of the mountain without being able to stop. The point is that the idea of modern psychology is called intergenerational abuse. You are abused, you're abused further. That's not the way God works, and that's not the way we should work. No excuses. And we have such sources of evilness. One is called Hollywood, manufacturing all these terrible, violent, ugly, horrid movies Thank God there is something called YouTube Premium that I don't have to see all that. You can't avoid it anymore. It's been shoved in your face. And it's all wrong. It's not right. Hollywood and the American movie makers are still having the bully issue 105 years ago. Come on, get with it. Phony actors beating each other up. Phony heroes, phony truth. Acquisition of property and objects is not the reality. We have to step back into ourselves, be ourselves. We want Mashiach? I don't believe that most people want. I don't believe it. Never have it, and I don't still. You want Mashiach? Act it. You want Mashiach? Be positive. You want Mashiach? Do what needs to be done for Mashiach. Change yourself internally. Don't play all these negative foreign games. You want Mashiach? Do it and prove it. Bezrat Hashem.